Okay, 12.5.1. So just got this update. Try to make a quick video. Gonna go get a coffee and then I will drive around a little bit. Let's see what it does. So I'm going to click it on from the parking lot again. I wouldn't expect any major changes. To me, this seems, I think they said they're releasing it to the hardware 3 versions as well. Okay. Click that on. Aggressive. Ready to go. So, I'm not actually sure how many changes to expect from 12.5.1, but that was a little aggressive, and this is a little aggressive. Not bad, but quick, that's for sure. Let's see what it does on this train track. Well, yeah, that was a little, that took off. No complaints from me, honestly, for that, but I mean, it took off. So we have this is kind of multiple, but it definitely slowed down, but we had a turn too, so I don't know if that was necessarily to do with the train tracks. But that was also, the car was just passing as it started to go, so that was quick. I'm wondering if we'll ever get to a point where it's, in actuality, the computer is so much faster thinking than us that it feels unnatural in the other way. It feels unnatural because we couldn't react fast enough to, we wouldn't have done that movement. We wouldn't even hit our foot on the pedal, and it moves that quickly. I mean, I don't think we're there by any means, but this is the first little bit of driving with 12.5.1. But that would be an interesting thing in the future. I always think of that old movie now, I, Robot. I don't remember it exactly by any means, but I do remember that all the cars were automated, and and that way they could go 300 kilometers an hour. I just remember that being the number. But they could go really fast on the highway because they weren't, humans weren't driving it. And I remember they made a big stink out of the fact that Will Smith put it into manual mode and was actually driving. But I don't know if I'll ever see the future that because cars are driving for us that we're able to, up the speed limits on these roads and actually get to destinations faster. It would be neat, but we're talking an unforeseeable amount of time from where we are right now. So that was fine and comfortable. Really trying to get up to speed quickly. I'm truthfully a little bit surprised. I'll have to drive this around a little bit more, but it does seem quite a bit different than 12.5. I mean, maybe this is placebo effect. I don't think a 0.1 should address. I mean, they didn't even change the release notes. They just copy and pasted the same one. So, including upcoming features and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know how much of a difference it'll be. But so far, it seems aggressive. And I always have it on assertive mode. So, I know one person had said to drive in average. But I've not seen any benefit to that whatsoever when I've tested it before. But I have on the highway put it into chill mode on a long drive. So this is, I'm gonna let it pull into this isn't the parking lot, so I gave it some gas. It seemed like it was kind of hesitating there. But I'm going to give it some gas and take over right there. So. So testing a little parking. I don't know if they changed anything. I imagine not. Feels very similar. I don't know. It was great before. That did great too. So have to do it a few more times to see if it gets tricked or it does something weird. But yeah, otherwise that was... Okay, so I just picked a kind of random place to go to test this out. So we're in a parking lot. This isn't the same parking lot by any means that I've been in before, but I'm gonna see what it does coming out of this parking lot. It's a weird parking lot. It says it's not a weird parking lot, it's like any other, it's a parking lot, but it has two ways out and it's got a lot of weird connecting things. So the way it's saying it wants to go is the way that I would go. It's a weird little exit here too with multiple lanes, so it could be a good little test. All right, let's try it. See what it does. So we're in the middle of the road, so okay, slowly. I didn't actually adjust it there, but like I said before, I don't typically use it exiting. I'll use it like this to exit a parking lot, but this is kind of a weird scenario. There's some block off, some yellow lines, you know, a light in a weird place. So we'll see. This is when I would go, and yeah, that was nice. No complaints as far as that goes. I'm gonna see. I'm not gonna do much or change anything for this drive. I'm gonna eat a sandwich. So the one good thing about the hands-free so far. We could have gone there for sure. Okay. Not bad, and up to speed so fast. So this is on assertive. It doesn't really say in assertive, I don't think, in the lingo. It says perform more frequent speed lane changes. So it doesn't directly say that it would accelerate faster, so I'm not exactly sure if that has anything to do with assertive or just 12.5.1 or just driving down this route, but it seems like it's accelerating, getting up to speed quicker. we're in the right lane. Right now we have a turn coming up in a little bit. It's not immediate, but let's see if they've done any improvements on staging, you know. This isn't a test that you can do on just one road and one turn for sure, but you know, let's see how quickly it starts to get over. I think in the city, you know, I wouldn't necessarily expect it to be in the left lane yet. Well, the left lane's closed ahead, so I don't want it to go over anyway, so we'll see. It shouldn't go over at all. Blinking red lights, which is a standard universal, right? Lights are out, turns it into a four-way stop. Historically, certainly on 12.3.6, it would not go. It would kind of start and stop in line with the blinking, which was kind of funny, but not correct, but funny, and I would have to give it some acceleration. So let's see on this one how it works, if it catches it as a four-way stop. So it stopped. Oh, that's an improvement. Absolutely. I don't know when, but I know 12.3.6 would not do that for me. I don't know about anybody else, but I had several, because you know, we're in Oklahoma, so storms or tornado season will knock out some lights, and we'll have those blinking lights all over the place, and I had to push through it every single time. So that's definitely impressive. That's an interesting improvement that they made. Pretty nice and smooth. So 0.4 of a mile, it's definitely getting over, turned into its own lane, and then immediately got over. Beautiful. I really do like that. We'll see what the threshold is on how quickly the next turn is of when it will make its way over. So I've had in previous videos, you know, where it cuts across multiple lanes of traffic because it has a quick left to do after its right turn, which I criticized. I want it to turn like it just did there, properly. So we'll have to see. That'll probably be another test, truthfully, but So that was good. That was a tight turn. In Oklahoma, we have these, some of the turns, and this is where I said the caveat is for sure. Some of the radiuses on the turns, the inside turns, are pretty tight. A pickup truck would definitely not be able to stay in its lane, which is what I've had before. A pickup truck would not be able to stay in the lane and make the turn staying into the same lane, the furthest right lane. So I could see them taking 2 lanes unless you want to be hopping curbs all the time. I think this car should be able to make all the turns without a problem, but you know, it slowed down there a lot to stay in the lane, not hit the other car, and avoid the curb, which it did. So I don't have any complaints on that, actually. I think that worked out pretty well. Nice. This is just stopping on the quarter. I'm just going to continue its navigation. Actually, maybe we'll loop around and go to that one where it failed that. Sure. I will love when we can actually adjust things on the screen and change even your location or where you're going and not get the nag. That would be very nice, but not there yet. So these are a good bunch of stop signs in a row. You know, tell me what you guys think on how natural it's fully stopping and going. I mean, I know it's super basic, but you know, something that you encounter every single day, and if it doesn't handle it flawlessly, it'll be annoying, obviously, because we go through stop signs so often. I think it's doing really well now. There was a few times where before it was creeping a lot and taking a long time to stop for the stop sign. You know, even situations like just that one was a little slow. And you know, when I say slow, we're really talking like fractions of a second as far as what, you know, I would have done driving myself, right? Because I'd be like, stop, go, right? So you can see there, like, just a smidgen of a second that it's slower than where maybe I would go. So, but very smooth, and somebody else driving you around, you know, car, no complaints. Like I said, still no steering wheel interventions whatsoever. A little bit of yelling at me. I call it Mama Tessie, because it nags me still a lot. But maybe I'll switch that eventually if it stops nagging. So nice and comfortable so far. So we got a roundabout here. See how it handles that. It's been doing really, really well on roundabouts. So, yep, just a yield, no stop, which is nice. Yeah, continuing. Oh, yeah. It even used its turn signal to exit the roundabout that time, which I think is interesting. I think you're supposed to, especially on bigger ones, but most people don't. So this, we have tracks in the center, and it does seem to be favoring the left side. Just like the guy in front is, but I don't know if that's to avoid the tracks or if the tracks are causing it some lane centering issues. But it very well could just be, I don't know, whether you give the benefit of the doubt or not. No issues. I mean, we're staying in the lane, so which way it wants to do that is fine. I don't want to necessarily be driving over the tracks the whole time. So there is some construction up here, but it's just one lane blocked. So I don't think that's going to really cause any grief, especially since our next turn's a left turn anyway. This, very slow to get to this green light, right? It could have done that quicker. And certainly this was very slow. I mean, still very, very, very slow. But I think that might be the navigation end. So I'm going to end that. And then I'm just going to pull here, which is not correct parking, but I'm going to purposely make it miss a few turns here to see if we can get it on a couple of the areas that I mentioned before that have had issues. So we're on the wrong side of the road now. I guess we can just test and see if it does anything interesting to get back onto the road. It's got its turning signal on and it's getting on to the right side of the road, which is great. I would expect that for sure. So nice slowdown over the train tracks. That was nice. So I'm going to make it pass this one turn that it's trying to do. So I'm going to unclick it. Is it going the right way? No, that's okay. So we had this lane with a lot of traffic the previous day, and it kind of parked itself in the middle here. So it took 2 lanes to turn. It's being pretty aggressive wanting to go, that's for sure. So I'm going to pay attention and not mess with the map. Okay, so it still took 2 lanes to turn, right? So that's one of the things that caused its problem the last time. And it took 2 lanes to turn without a turning signal. So I was kind of hoping that it was going to not do that, but it's not the end of the world by any means. Just still, in my opinion, not necessary. So I'm going to take it off its path right now and try to take it the same way that it went through the bike stops earlier. Okay, so that really hugged that corner, which was good. So I'm taking it out of that right now to go straight and let it correct itself. Because I really want to go down through those bike lanes again. Would be a good test. I'm going to put this on here to see what it does. Okay. I threw that on there last second, but I just wanted to see what it would do with somebody walking across one of these pedestrian crossing zones, and it did great. So here's another one. We'll see. Wonderful, right? Didn't fully stop the car. They're comfortable. They didn't even look at me to give me a dirty look or anything like that. So no complaints. That's excellent behavior. This was not the street. Oh, well, the next street is, so this will be good. Actually, I'm going to kick it out and go down the other street. So. Not the fastest way. it's rerouting the wrong way. I wanted to go over that exact same bike lane that I made that short video of, so. Stop. Go. And as soon as this clicks over, I'll let it do its thing. So this was the one on 12.5. It stopped completely when it saw this bike logo. So we'll see this one. I mean, it drove right over it, which is just different than yesterday. So, you know, 12.5 to 12.5.1. So let's see how many of these, and they're weird. So you guys can't see that, but there's a little tiny bit of a hiccup going over it. So this one's fine. Nope, still. So same behavior, just, you know, hit or miss. You know, there's going to be lighting conditions and whatnot that make it. So there's a full stop for a bike lane, right? Like we can see now it drove over it, but it literally stopped. So I don't know if this is necessarily regressed or worse than 12.5.1. Just different lighting conditions. I bet it's just not addressed in any capacity at all. So interesting. So this is, you know, potentially, so you can see we're dodging them again. Limitation on in the bright light, it's actually, I think it might be dodging them more, which is fun. Not fun if you weren't expecting it, that's for sure. So you see what it's doing. So this is a potential vision limitation. I've had some of this with asphalt, and so now here's a car coming, and it's going to pop into the center lane, and embarrassingly so. So that's that was not super great, but the rest of the drive was great. So we'll I'll click this off, and we'll go from there, and I'll do another drive to add on to this video. 12.5.1, little test on if they did anything with the highway stack. So this is a bicyclist on the road. I don't know. We were going to pass him, so yeah. I mean, good behavior for that. I mean, you really can't complain about that type of behavior. You know, slowed down, was going to put on a turning signal to go around the bicyclist. Didn't have to. So going through all of these yellow lines, I mean, it really doesn't cause a problem, but they're there for a reason. So it doesn't make any sense that it would go over it. So you probably couldn't see that, but it had to do a little jerk from its original path of the angle that it was taking, because that transport truck was going into that lane. And on the path it was taking, it was actually going to go over the lines into his lane. So it had to adjust, which is good that it adjusted, but I'm still going to say, why go over the lines in the first place? Why break that rule? It really just doesn't seem necessary. You can make the turn without going over those lines. So it's jarring, right? If you're not fully paying attention and trying to watch everything that it's doing, it just seems you would be driving, making a turn, and then it would do a little wheel shake, which would be weird, right? I do it to bug my son or girlfriend. I'm like, they don't like it, especially when it's not when they're not expecting it. So, same principle. I just don't know why bother breaking the rules and then having to adjust for the rule that you're breaking. So nice smooth merge. This is a lane ends merge right. So the lane that we're in currently is the lane we're supposed to be in. So see, that's good, because previously 12.5 it would kind of mess that up a little bit. Not mess it up in any real way. It would only mess it up it would throw out its turn signal, thinking that it needs to move over a lane, which, isn't really the case. So being that we don't have auto offset on highway, I'm assuming the highway stacks are not merged, so I don't see any change there. So 1.8 miles to get into the faster lane when we have a turn coming up in less than 2 miles. I don't know. I have it on assertive, so that may be maybe that is a difference from normal. I'm not entirely sure. It definitely says more aggressive on lane changes, lane speed changes. So, but it's getting right back over, which is good because it knows that we have an exit coming up. So it's still trying to get over. So 1.5 miles or so, I think it's making that thought. See what it does here, because there's quite a few cars here. So we'll see. So we really have the room. We should be getting over now. There's no doubt about it. It's telling me I'm not paying attention because I'm looking in the mirror at all the drivers. So, 0.4 of a mile left to get over. It's just not good staging. A little bit weird exit, you know, standard highway stuff. Really has not changed. So now we're back on. I'm gonna click over. I really do want to be in the right lane, turning left here. So it really does seem to get up to speed a lot better. I am going to say, if my takeaway on this drive, I'm trying to think back, and I'll think back a little bit more, I'm sure, when I'm watching the video, but I would say my one takeaway is getting up to speed seems definitely changed. Slowing down for turns, I honestly feel a little excessive. That was a little excessive, but yeah, so that's that one. We'll try again.